use in regards to what they are. Mr. Pardik is going to retain the AC/DC, the Fishtails, the Playboy Bally, Evil Knievel.
Okay, hold on. I'm writing this down.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
World Cup, Shuffle Alley Royal, Wizard, Silver Ball, Alpine Club, Matahari, Playboy Data East, Gulfstream, Laser QC UE, Jack in the Box, Roller Games, and Metallica. Miss Pardik, Amber, is going to retain Walking Dead, Hook, Shuffle Alley Chicago, Please, Bion, BION, Laser Ball, Lost World. There's a slot machine called the Jackpot slot machine. The rest are pinball machines. Haunted House, Phoenix, Swing Along, Snow Derby, Sports Zone, Kingpin, and Judge Dredd. And in compensation for the Metallica, Mr. Pardik will be paying my client $2,800 as put into our property settlement.
Is that it on the machines?
The machines, yes.
Mr. Umloff, is that your understanding of the pinball division?
I may have missed one of them. Nancy, did you include that my client gets the Playboy Bally pinball machine?
Yes, I said that one, yes.
Okay.
One of the garage wasn't mentioned in the
Okay. Then yes, that is accurate.
Okay. The other issue that we have is we have settled specific personal items from the home. My client, Amber Pardik, is going to be retaining, and this is a lengthy list, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, you can go through it, then I'll have it as a record. I won't try to write it like I did the last one because I got behind it.
It's lengthy. Okay. 2 kayaks, Roku TV, jukebox with 100 CDs, her mom's stained glass lamp, her grandfather's table, which is reddish wood and rectangular, the Halloween decorations, half of the Christmas decorations, the large artificial Christmas tree, 2 or 3 of the small artificial Christmas trees. And the reason it's 2 or 3 is because if Jerry wants one, he can have it. If he doesn't want it, she will keep 3. She is getting the unfinished dollhouse in a box, the unfinished build dollhouse that is on Grandpa's table, the dresser with mirror in the master bedroom, the large dark wood dresser without mirror in the master bedroom that has her clothes in it, the sectional and matching chair and brown love seat, her sewing machine and assorted fabric, her crafting supplies, her scrapbooking supplies, her yarn and crochet supplies, all of the DVDs and Blu-ray movies, all of her premarital CDs and her marital CDs, the 3 wood backless bar stools, the queen size bed and bedding, half of the twin size bedding, half of the throw blankets, including the gray one and the red penguin one, her KitchenAid mixer and the accessories, the cookbooks that are on the shelf upstairs, half of the pots and pans, the antique dishes in the basement, folding tables and storage stand, the coffee table that was taken in from the curbside at one point, the multi-headed lamp, half of the kids' toys, a plastic tub that has baby items, which is in the basement, all the novels that are in the basement. Each one of the children are going to keep 1 dresser because they each have 2. So that will be 1 dresser for each kid at my client's home and 1 for the plaintiff. The scroll saw, her coin collection, any homeschool supplies, pictures of her with her oldest son, Bryce, and half of the family photos, the 2 heated cat houses, the Blu-ray player hooked to the Roku TV, the round oak kitchen table with 5 chairs. There's a 6th chair, but that one is the one that Jerry sits on, and he's going to receive that. My client's receiving the white shelving units in the basement with her jewelry and scrapbooking stuff. 5 fishing poles, 1 tackle box, top floating shallow dive or popper lure for each pole, 2 carboys, and half of wine making supplies, the grill, the instant pot, upstairs microwave, unopened silverware in the basement, and 1/3 of the silverware that's being kept in the kitchen. I guess there's 3 sets. Cake making supplies, half of the mixing bowls and small kitchen items, half of the meat in the freezer, the freezer that's on the patio of the marital home, the Shark vacuum, the small red blender, the chopper that's in a box in the basement. It's a kitchen thing. The framed artwork, which will include the bridge paintings, artwork that Amber painted and her painting supplies, her picture fridge magnets, plastic canvas books and supplies, a half of the board games and card games that are in the house. I guess there's a whole bunch. Her jewelry making supplies, the bread maker, the immersion blender, the vintage smoky black wine glasses, half of the house plants, the small wind chimes, the antique red glass railroad lamps, the rooster decor, half of the shelving units, the dark wood bookshelf. Okay. The dark wood bookshelf that's in the living room, the egg cooker and the white crock pot and electric roaster, 1 of the Pampered Chef pitchers, the salt and pepper shaker collection, the kids 4-H projects, the fairy collection, the crystal wind decanter and glasses, or the whiskey ones, the coffee maker that's in the basement, as long as there is one in the basement that is working. They're going to split the pizza pans. My client will receive the Pampered Chef stoneware. They will split the cast iron pans. They'll split the camping equipment. They'll split the kitchen knives. My client will receive a basic set of tools and a toolbox, half of the towels in the home, half of the chairs on the patio, the boys' bunk beds, and my client's clothes, personal items, and her mail and packages that have come to the house. The husband, Jerry Hardeek, is going to receive the Vizio Smart TV, the aluminum bottom boat, the go-kart, the dirt bike, half of the winemaking equipment, that oak chair that he sits in, half of the Christmas decorations, his oak dressers from childhood, and the oak hope chest from his grandmother's couch, gray recliner, and 3 other recliners, his CDs, the black and metal bar stools, and the bar stool that has a back, the full-size bedding, half of the twin-size bedding, half of the throw blankets, the cookbooks from the basement, half of the pots and pans, the chess coffee table that he built, the swinging arm lamp, half of the kids' toys, a dresser for each kid, 1 of the ottomans, his coin collection, many pictures of him, plus half of the family pictures, his grandmother's table and the other dining room table, all remaining fishing items, the beer making supplies and the conical, the toaster oven, half of the mixing bowls and small kitchen items, the downstairs microwave, half of the meat in the freezer, half of the framed artwork, half of the card games and board games, half of the house plants, the backyard wind chimes, both picnic tables, 1 roaster, the white blender and the black crock pot, 1 Pampered Chef pitcher, either the crystal wild wine decanter or the whiskey decanter. They're going to split the pizza pans. He gets the nonstick cookware. They're going to split the cast iron pans, half of the camping equipment. They're going to split the kitchen knives. He's going to get the remainder of the tools after my client gets the set of tools in the toolbox, half of the towels and half of the chairs on the patio. He will receive, obviously, his clothes and personal items. My client will receive her clothes and personal items. And that is our full agreement.
Okay. Mr. Umloff, does that look like an accurate resolution of the partial property settlement?
In reviewing my list, Your Honor, I didn't hear Nancy state that my client would get the coffee maker that he's currently using. If possible, I may have missed it.
No, coffee maker he's currently using is fine.
And
yeah, mine will get the one that's in the basement where she knows where it is.
Unless that's the one you took upstairs and using it.
Okay, well, go ahead.
And I just want to clarify with my client what was stated in the record as dark wood bookshelf was in our list, presumably it was a typo, as a dark wood kook in the carpeted living room. Jerry, did you understand that was the bookshelf?
That is the bookshelf. I do have one item that I noticed also to talk about.
Okay, and what is that?
The queen bed.
Mm-hmm.
It was listed on that she would get that, but that is the bed I sleep in.
Okay.
I thought that was part of our agreement from this morning that my client was going to get it.
As did I. Your Honor, could I have a moment with my client?
Sure. We'll put you in a breakout room.
To be decided at trial.
Okay. And you did mention earlier sometime that there was, on the plaintiff's retirement, the marital portion was going to be divided. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You said that earlier, then you didn't recite that when we were delineating the personal property. I wanted to make sure that that was still being resolved that way too.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Umloff, why don't you inquire of your client as to those items, and then we can proceed.
Certainly. And Jerry, could you enable your video again? Jerry, did you hear the property settlement that was just placed on the record?
Yeah,
And subject to my clarification regarding the dispute on the queen size bed and associated bedding, did you understand it?
yeah, yes,
Does it accurately reflect what we've been able to agree on today?
yes,
And did you make the agreements that you did freely and voluntarily?
yes,
Did anyone threaten you or coerce you to get you to agree?
no,
Okay, thank
Nothing
you.
further.
Ms. Kirkpatrick, have you inquired of your client?
And did you hear everything that I placed on the record about, one about the pinball machines, one about the items in the home and the personal items?
Yes.
Okay. And again, we thought that the queen size bed was part of the deal that you were going to receive, correct?
Yes.
But since it appears that there's a dispute about that, you understand that we don't want to waste any more time on this morning and throw that into the mix that would have to be determined later, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The settlement agreement that I placed on the record, as far as the pinball machines and the personal items, did you agree with everything that I indicated?
Yes.
And do you understand that if the court accepts that agreement, he will not be making a determination about who owns any of those things? That is going to be done according to this list in this agreement.
Yes.
Okay. And is that acceptable to you?
Yes.
You understand if we let the judge make that determination, it could be better for you, worse for you, or about the same?
Yes.
Okay. But you're going to agree to settle with those issues and they will not be further determined by the court, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you both, at least for the settlement as it relates to those particular items. We'll now proceed. Mr. Umloff, do you wish to make an opening statement?
One matter of housekeeping, Your Honor.
Okay.
When we convened for our last trial, Your Honor indicated that the court would take judicial notice of my property division chart that was submitted in accordance with the scheduling order. I've since received a different one from opposing counsel on Friday, as in last Friday. I would request that the court simply take judicial notice of mine on the grounds that it was timely filed.
Okay. Ms. Kirkpatrick, what's your response?
My response is that nearly all of what I submitted to the court has been determined by way of the personal property this morning. And so there is no necessary reason for mine to be considered today.
Okay. So obviously, so we wouldn't have to consider yours in any event.
Right, right.
Okay. Does that
And,
resolve the issue for you, Mr. Umloff?
and just one other thing, Your Honor, I did have several exhibits prepared as it relates to issues of property division and values of various items. If the court is simply taking judicial notice of what is in my property division chart, could we simply proceed using the property division chart, or would Your Honor prefer that we still use the exhibits?
That's up to you, Mr. Umloff. The court will accept your property division chart. The court will note that you did timely file that property division chart. And that was filed, I believe, on, yes, it was filed on September 20, 2023, consistent with the case scheduling order. So the court will accept those particular values. If you wish to go over individually through exhibits, you can do so, but it might be redundant.
I agree, Your Honor. And I think in this interest of judicial economy, I think it would be best to use the chart. Nancy, do you have any objection to that?
No, I don't. And Your Honor, we were also discussing the aspect of, I have no objection to any exhibit that he would submit to the court. And I believe he doesn't object to mine. And I think we could agree at this point that any of the exhibits presented by either party would be admitted.
Okay.
Mr. Umloff, is that correct?
That is accurate as far as her exhibits for purposes of authentication by witness testimony. My client, there are some text messages my client would like to clarify what was said in those, certainly by way of his testimony. And it appears that the child support order that was proposed as your last exhibit, Nancy, contains an error in the calculations that will be fleshed out in my client's testimony.
Okay. It looks like we have resolution of those particular items as well. Are we now ready to proceed with any opening?
Your Honor, I would waive opening and proceed straight to proofs.
Okay. Ms. Kirkpatrick, do you wish to make an opening, reserve your opening, or waive your opening?
I would reserve, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, then, Mr. Umloff, you can call your first witness.
I call my client Jerry Pardee. And are you currently married to the defendant in this case, Amber Pardee?
Yes,
Do you have any children under the age of 18 with Amber?
yes, we have 3 children.
Could you tell me their ages, please?
Samuel is 17. Logan turned 15 yesterday. And Elijah is 13.
To the best of your knowledge, is Amber pregnant?
No, she's not.
Do you recall signing a complaint for divorce in my office in April of this year?
Yes,
At the time that you signed the complaint, had you been a resident of the state of Michigan for at least 180 days?
I've lived in Michigan for at least 180 days.
And at the time that you signed the complaint, had you been a resident of Calhoun County for at least 10 days?
Yes, I've been a resident of Calhoun County for more than 10 days.
The complaint states that there's been a breakdown of the marital relationship to the extent that the objects of matrimony have been destroyed and that there remains no reasonable likelihood that the marriage can be preserved. Was that true the day you signed the complaint?
That is true.
Was it true the day you signed the complaint as well?
Yes, that is true.
If the court were to refuse to sign a judgment of divorce for the two of you, is there any chance that you would be able to continue living together as husband and wife after this is over?
No,
Do you recall when your date of marriage?
November 16th, 2002 is when we were married.
And when did you separate?
So she had told me she was going to Ohio to visit her family.
Mhm.
So the day after Easter, that would be April 10th, she left to go visit them because her mom had some health issues. And she verified she got down there. We talked to her a couple times during the next 2 weeks. And when she returned, she showed up at my house with police and talking about divorce and telling me I was violent, which I've not been. So that's why we're here today.
Before you separated, how often did you see your children?
I see my children every day of their lives.
Were you able to spend quality time with them?
Yes, I would spend quality time with them, fishing, card games, swimming, Monopoly, basketball, go to church on Sundays.
After the date of separation, was there a period of time where Amber did not allow you to see the children?
I did not see my children for 9 weeks. I got to see them after the first hearing. That was in June.
And that was after the court ordered a parenting time schedule. Is that correct? Could you say that again, please?
That is correct.
During that time period between separation and our hearing, did you try to see the children?
Yes, I did. She
How?
would not let me see them. Offered to have her, see the kids, drop them off, meet somewhere. She wouldn't let me see them.
How did you try to get in touch with her to see the kids?
Through texting. There were a few phone calls.
After the hearing, what was the schedule that was ordered by the judge?
Summertime, every other week. School time, every other weekend. And I'd see them on every Wednesday evening. I believe that's the Calhoun County standard. Alternating holidays.
All right. And do those alternating holidays include alternating spring breaks and half of the school winter break?
I believe so.
Okay. Could you describe your bond with your sons?
I'm very close with my sons. From being at the birth of them to their birthday parties, doing things with them, riding bikes, fixing bikes, swimming, camping, games, watching movies, making popcorn, learning how to cook, showing them how to, build things, wind chimes, working on electronics and understanding that and explaining the science behind it. I'm very close to my boys, and they mean a lot to me.
Do they come to you when they have a problem?
Yes, they do.
Could you give some examples without saying exactly what they told you?
The flat bike tire, they come to me to, if I can show them how to fix a bike tire. Or when they pick on each other, they're boys, if one of them's getting picked on by the other brother. So I'll have to have a talk with them about that, whichever one was being the mean one.
Do they come to you when they have a triumph, something they're very excited about, proud of?
They did mention about their 4-H project that they're happy about this year.
And did it go well for them?
Yeah, they enjoyed it. Yes.
Do they ever come to you when they're in need of guidance or in need of advice?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you give an example?
When they want to know, what to do if they feel bad and they're not sure what to do and they're uncertain of, some of the events that have happened here this past, and I just try to encourage them, that they're loved and care for them, and just try to be there for them.
You mentioned learning how to cook earlier. Are you involved in making their meals?
Yes, I am.
Could you tell the court what some of their favorite foods are?
They like spaghetti. That's a big one. Sometimes they like the simple meals like ramen noodles, hand make a pizza, have them put toppings on it. Sammy likes stroganoff.
How do they know that you love them?
I support them. I let them know that I love them and I care for them. If they need anything, they can come to me. I'm supportive towards them, letting them know that they can be comfortable and they don't have to be afraid of anything. And if they have anything that bothers them, they are more than willing to talk to me.
How do they show you love and affection?
I get hugs from them periodically. And just being around each other, sitting at the dinner table, eating dinner, is a good way to show love too.
Are you able to stay home from work when they're sick?
Yes, I am.
Are they homeschooled?
They are currently homeschooled. Yes.
Okay. When did that start?
I believe in 2018, 2019 school year.
And who's been primarily teaching them at home?
Amber has.
Before they were homeschooled, did you go to their parent-teacher conferences?
Yes, I did.
Were you involved in their education in other ways?
Yes.
Okay. Like what?
Helping them with math problems, reading through some of their homework, for helping with school. At home, we would work on, apply math to mounting the TV stands centered in a wall, so there's measurements in math and that are some examples.
Now that they're homeschooled, how involved are you in their education?
I am not involved in that right now.
How about after they started homeschooling, but before the separation?
I was involved in their homeschooling.
Okay.
Because I could work with them each day and, try to apply practical everyday things and bring a knowledge to that and how things happen and why, and understanding.
Did you try to be more involved in their schooling after they were homeschooled?
Yes.
Okay. How so? And how did your wife react?
I try to teach them things with electronics and understanding the circuitries and, and then from carpentry, teaching them that. I was into building a yard sundial where we would put cement blocks with a number on them in the yard, and a shadow would cast onto the yard to give a time of day. I was working with Logan on that, and she discouraged them on, saying you don't have to to help him, even though it's trying to be an educational aspect of it.
Have you tried to ask Amber about the curriculum she's teaching and how they're doing on the basic school subjects?
I have asked, and the response I get is that it's online.
Okay. And that's it?
That's it.
Do you go to church with your boys?
Yes, I take my boys to church on Sundays.
Which church?
Lutheran church.
How long have you been going there?
About maybe 14 years.
Does Amber take them to church, if you know?
You'd have to ask her.
Understood. What are the rules in your home?
The roles for doing chores is sweeping and vacuuming dishes, cooking.
And are the boys well behaved when they're with you?
Yes, they are well behaved when they're with me.
How do you handle discipline if you need to?
I talk to them, and got to get an understanding, where they're coming from, where I'm coming from, and why what they're doing is not acceptable, and that they need to be, more thoughtful of other people around them sometimes.
Are you able to buy their equipment, school supplies, toys, clothes?
Yes, I have been.
Do you handle doctor and dentist appointments?
Amber has done those in the past. I can surely handle getting them to the doctor or dentist.
Do you wish to be more involved in the scheduling of doctor and dentist appointments?
I do wish to be more involved. Yes.
Do your sons have any special needs?
They do not have any special needs.
Given everything that's happened, do you think they would benefit from counseling?
I think counseling would be good for them.
And is that something you've mentioned to the defendant in this case?
I believe I have.
And what's been the response, if you remember?
No response.
Are you currently employed?
I am currently employed.
Where at? Excuse me.
West Rock,
Where is that located?
Battle Creek.
And what do you do there?
I am a reliability engineer.
How long have you been there?
I started there the end of April or end of August this year.
How much do you make?
100,000 a year,
100,000 even?
even.
Through your job, do you provide health insurance for your children?
Yes, I do.
How much do you pay for that health insurance?
Per pay period, I pay $159 and 62 cents. That's per
And
paycheck.
how often are you paid?
Twice a month.
And does that include vision and dental?
That includes medical, vision, and dental.
Okay. And who is covered under that policy?
Samuel, Logan, Elijah, and myself.
Do you have any union dues or any other required payments that are a condition of your employment?
No, I do not.
Where do you currently live?
220 again.
How long have you lived there?
Bought the house maybe 16 years ago.
And you and your family have lived there ever since?
Yes.
And when you exercise your parenting time, your children stay there with you?
Yes, they stay here with me during parenting time.
Could you describe it? And by that, I mean, is it a house, an apartment, a townhome, or a trailer?
It's a house, a ranch style house, brick, acre and a half.
How many bedrooms? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
A wooded backyard. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, has a full basement.
And who lives there right now?
I do, and the boys do when they are here.
Okay. What are the sleeping arrangements?
They each have their own bed.
Do any of them share a room with one another?
Yes, they share a room.
All three of them?
Yes. Yeah, so the beds are in one room. All the dressers are moved in where the laundry area is. So, the bedroom's not crowded with dressers. So it's like a sleeping quarters.
Okay. Is that the third bedroom? Or is there another bedroom?
Or I don't understand your question.
I thought I heard you say it's a 3-bedroom house. And then you mentioned dressers were in the laundry room. Is the third bedroom what you consider the laundry room, or is there a different bedroom?
The laundry room is not a bedroom.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
There are 3 bedrooms, and the laundry room is separate.
Describe the housekeeping standards.
The floors are cleaned, the dishes are done, garbage is taken out, laundry gets kept up on, the windows are washed, wipe down, do the spring cleaning.
Do you know where your wife is currently staying?
250,
And do you know anything about that house?
a little bit.
Okay. What do you know about the house?
Last year, she took me over there to help move some items out of the basement to give you the oldest son. And there's a lot of dog hair and smelled like animal urine. Cape Cod style house.
And do you know who lives there?
A man lives there. He told me his name was Dick. I'm not sure that's his real name.
Okay. Anyone else that lives there?
Cindy, which is not his wife, lives there, and Cindy is a friend of Amber's.
Do you know where your sons are sleeping in that house?
They are sleeping in the basement.
Did there come a point in time where the boys, after she moved in there, took a bunch of air mattresses from your home?
Yes, yes. Logan took an air mattress over there so that he didn't have to sleep with his brother in the same bed.
Do they have close friends that are in driving distance of your home?
Yeah, they have some homeschooling friends. It's probably maybe a 20-minute drive.
What is your boys' relationship like with your parents? Excuse me.
It is good. Um, we we always have a good time when we're together.
What about with your siblings and your siblings' children?
We always have a good time together, eating, playing games, backyard games, um, talking about stuff. It's always a great time when we're together.
Do you use any illegal drugs?
No,
Do you use any prescription drugs that are not prescribed to you?
no,
Do you abuse any prescription drugs that are prescribed to you?
no,
Do you drink alcohol?
no,
Did you in the past?
yes.
How long has it been since you had a drink of alcohol?
I stopped drinking at the end of March.
Why did you stop drinking at the end of March?
I was fired from my job.
Do you believe that drinking played a part in getting fired from your job, or did you just choose not to drink after getting fired?
I chose not to drink after getting fired.
Okay.
Drinking was not related to me getting fired. I don't go to work drunk. My average was 2 beers a day before that. I don't drink anymore.
Do you use marijuana?
No.
Did you in the past?
Yes.
When was the last time?
The end of March.
Did you also stop using marijuana because you were fired from a previous job?
Yes,
But your use of marijuana is not what led you to get fired. Is that correct?
that is correct.
And did you stop using alcohol and marijuana in part because you were now unemployed and needed to cut out unnecessary expenses?
No,
Okay. Does your wife have any issues with substance abuse that you know of?
I believe so.
Okay. Why do you believe so?
We used to smoke marijuana together, and looking at in some of the vehicles, I found a pill bottle with some tranquilizers in it. It makes me wonder that. And then I found another pill bottle that had an unknown substance in it that actually had her mom's name on the pill bottle, but I don't know what that was doing in the bathroom cupboard. I don't know what it is though.
And neither of those were yours, is that correct?
Neither of those are mine.
And was her name on either of the bottles as the person that they were prescribed to?
Her name was not on the bottles. Her mother's name was on one bottle. Her grandmother's name was on the other bottle.
Whose name was on the tranquilizers?
Her grandmother's.
When did you find these bottles?
It was in May after the file of divorce.
So May of this year?
Yeah.
Aside from finding those bottles, do you have any other reasons to believe that your wife has issues with substance abuse?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have a criminal record?
No, I do not.
Does your wife?
No, she does not.
Have you ever been physically violent with your wife?
No, I have not.
What about your children?
No, I have not.
Have you ever been verbally abusive to your wife or your children?
No, I have not.
Do you have any physical or mental health issues?
No,
Does your wife?
no.
Is it fair to say that you were more involved in your children's school and education when they were in the public schools?
I was more involved in their education when they were in public schools.
Do you want the children to continue with homeschooling?
I would like my children to go to public schools where there are counselors to help them with anything they need. There's more children their age, so they can get more of the social aspect and be more comfortable around that. There are more extra activities, sports, clubs that they have at school, I think would be beneficial for them in continuing and enhancing their education.
What kind of extracurricular activities are they involved in now?
They go to a painting class.
Is that it?
Yes, that's the only one I know of.
Are they interested in anything else?
I think they would need to see what is offered to them to see if they're interested in it. I mean, how is a person to know what they're interested in if they don't know that it exists?
Have there been instances where your wife has prevented you from being more involved in your children's homeschooling?
Well, after she left, the whole homeschooling thing fell apart with me. I don't have an opportunity, and when I asked about how is school, I get a very vague answer out of the boys. I recall at church, Pam Netherly asked Elijah what grade he was in. He couldn't
Your Honor,
even.
I would object to that as hearsay, any kind of statement from Pam.
Okay. Mr. Umloff?
Sorry.
I don't think it's being offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's simply a question. And I think where he's going with this is to show that before he was cut off, to show that the child wasn't able to answer the question. So for that, I would say it's being offered for a non-hearsay purpose.
Ms. Kirkpatrick, how do you respond to that?
I think that he's trying to get through this testimony, the court to believe that the children are not being well suited to homeschooling, so it would be offered for the truth of the matter.
Well, here the statement isn't a person saying that homeschooling isn't going well. It's showing the child's reaction to a question.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's one of those close calls, but I'm going to allow the answer.
Go ahead.
Elijah didn't know what grade he was in when he was asked.
What is your proposed parenting time schedule?
I would like every other week.
And why is that?
I enjoy time with the boys. They enjoy time with me. Um, it's family.
Do you think the boys need their father in their lives? Excuse me.
Yes, I do.
And isn't it true that before separation, you saw them daily
I saw them every day.
and you were able to spend time with them every day?
I was able to spend time with them every day.
What are you asking the court to order as far as legal custody is concerned? That is the big decisions like medical treatment, education, religion,
50-50 legal custody.
joint legal. Do you mean joint legal?
Is that 50-50?
We use the term joint.
I might not understand the terminology. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, joint legal is 50-50 legal. Do you ever talk about Amber around the children?
No, I do not.
Is there anything else that you would like the court to know, or that you would like to tell the court that you haven't already regarding the issues of custody and parenting time and support for the children?
I think you covered it.
Thank you. Moving on to issues of property. How many parcels of real estate do you own?
There are 2 parcels here, lot 6 and lot 7.
And are those both covered on your property chart under the address 20 Myrtle Home?
That is under the same address, yes.
And is it true that it appraised for the price of $190,000?
Yes,
And there is no debt associated with that marital home, correct?
there is no debt associated with the home. It has been paid for.
What would you like to do with the marital home?
I would like to keep the house.
Why would you like to keep the house?
This is my home. This is where I live. I enjoy it here. I enjoy the yard, where it's at. I work on the house. Did the roof a couple years ago with the boys. And
So you have some, what I would call sweat equity in this home? You put in a lot of work on it?
I have a lot of sweat equity in this home.
Do you understand that if the court were to order that you get the marital home, you would have to compensate the defendant for half of her interest in that home?
Yes, I understand that.
So that would be paying her, if my math is right, $95,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you intend to do that?
Yes, I do.
How do you intend to do that?
I will get a loan. I've looked into a home equity loan.
And how far along are you in that process?
I've researched it. I've talked to the bankers about how much, and there's
Without telling us, let's not get into what the bankers told you, but are you confident you will be able to?
Yes, I have good credit and I have a job. I am confident I will be able to get that loan, 100%.
Do you believe that the defendant, your wife, can afford to buy you out of the marital home?
I do not believe so.
Why not?
That's my thoughts.
Why do you believe that she can't buy you out of the marital home?
I make more money than she does. I would, to get a loan, you have to work for at least 2 years, from what I understand. She'd have a hard time getting a loan.
And do you know where she's working now?
No, I do not.
At the time that you guys separated, where was she working?
Redemption Lutheran Church.
How many days per week did she work?
I think maybe 2.
And how many hours on those days?
I don't know exactly how many hours. I didn't keep track of it.
Was it more than 8 for those 2 days?
I would think so.
Do you believe she worked more than 8 hours per day?
I'm not exactly sure. I'd ask.
Do you know how much she made?
No.
Was it substantially less than what you made?
Yes.
Do you happen to know how her credit is?
I do not know how her credit is.
Moving on to vehicles. Are there any vehicles that you're currently in possession of?
Yes.
Can you tell me what they are?
There is a Pontiac Aztec. There's a Chrysler Town and Country minivan, a GMC Yukon, and a Ford Mustang.
Of those vehicles, were any of them owned by you before you got married?
Yes, the Ford Mustang I owned before marriage,
When did you purchase it?
1999.
Any other vehicles on that list that were owned by you before the marriage?
No.
What is the value on the Chrysler Town and Country?
On Blue Book, they kind of came up.
Let me do it this way. We have on our property division chart that the Chrysler Town and Country is scrap value. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the Yukon is approximately $420. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that the Aztec is also scrap value. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Are there any vehicles that are in your wife's possession?
Honda Civic?
Any others?
No.
And the Honda Civic we had valued in our chart at $758. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Amoff, did you say 758?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I caught the dollar amount.
How do you propose that those vehicles be divided up, Jerry?
I would like to keep the Yukon and the Chrysler minivan. The Ford Mustang is premarital, so of course I'd keep that also.
So that leaves Amber with the Aztec and the Civic.
Yes.
Now, why is it that you want the Yukon?
The Yukon has a trailer hitch for taking the boat to the lake, so I can take the boys fishing and we go swimming. That's the reason why.
There are two boats listed on our property chart. Is that correct?
Oh, let me get it. Is there two? There's a John boat with trailer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there's another aluminum boat with trailer. And is there a rowboat on there?
No, just a boat with trailer and motor and a John boat with trailer motor and trolling motor.
Okay.
Are those two boats separate property from the marriage?
The John boat was purchased before marriage. Purchased it for $900 before we got married.
What year?
It was the year 2001.
And the boat with the trailer and motor, is that also separate property?
That was a gift from my father.
When did he give it to you?
Probably 5 years ago.
And to be clear, this was a gift, not something that you inherited. Is that correct?
It was a gift at no cash value.
During the marriage, did you do a lot of boating with the boys?
Yes, I'd take them fishing and swimming.
Even if the court did not consider these boats marital property, you would like them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Are there any other vehicles that we haven't discussed?
No.
Okay. There was a Fifth Third checking account that both of you had jointly. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the value we have on that one in our chart is $13,095. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that represents the half that was left in there after your wife took the other half of the money out of it
That is correct.
back at the start of this case. Am I correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And you're requesting that you be allowed to keep the money that was in that account. Is that also correct?
That is correct.
There is a Fifth Third savings account that was in both your names that we have a value of $590. Do you recall that one?
Yes.
Has that account since been closed?
Yes, that has since been closed.
But you would like to keep the 590 as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Does your wife have a Fifth Third savings account with her son?
Yes, with Quentin.
We have it at $10,591. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you know the source of the funds in that account?
They were that was money during his graduation, and the bank account was opened during marriage. I know some history on the account, that I know Quentin had bought in a car, Toyota minivan. He told me it was $1,000. And then the rest of the money, he said he gave it to his mother, keep it in a safe place. And
Is it your position that that money is a marital account and should be factored into any property division?
yes, that is in the marital account
Okay. Why is it a marital account?
because it was created during marriage and it has her name on it.
Was there also a Fifth Third savings account with $817 in it in both of your names?
Yes,
And that account has also been closed. Is that correct?
that is correct.
And you wish to keep the fund, the 817 in funds that was in that account. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We also had listed a bank account open with a cashier's check on our chart that your wife had in the value of $13,085. Is that cashier's check what she used to take half of the money in the marital account we talked about?
I believe so.
Do you know if she actually opened an account, where she opened that account?
I do not know.
And you're fine with her keeping that money that she took out in the cashier's check?
Yes,
All right. As it relates to personal property, we've reached a settlement on everything except the queen size bed. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Which on our chart we have valued at $50. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Why do you want the bed?
I sleep in the bed every night. It's very comfortable. Doesn't hurt my back. It's hard to find a bed that, fits your body like that, but I like to keep the bed. I sleep in it. It's comfortable.
Are you at a point in life where it is becoming more difficult to find comfortable furniture and beds?
Yes,
And so you would prefer to keep that bed?
I prefer to keep the bed.
With regard to debts, was there a Fifth Third credit card in your wife's name?
Yes,
And that debt, per our property chart, was a debt of $432. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Did you ultimately pay off that bill?
Yes, I did.
So you would request that your payment of that credit card bill be factored into any property division that the court orders. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There is a Fifth Third credit card in your name that we valued the debt on at $5,212. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you also pay off that balance yourself?
Yes, that has been paid off.
So would you ask that that be factored into any property division made by the court?
Yes,
There is a Cabela's credit card that we valued at $516. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Did you pay off that balance as well?
Yes,
And is it your request that the court factor that into any property and debt division?
yes,
Did Amber take out a personal loan through Advia Credit Union?
I believe so. Which I learned later on. I didn't know about it at the time.
Do you know how much it is? We had it valued at $3,000.
I guess that would be the value.
When did you find out about this loan?
During this divorce,
So after filing?
after filing.
Is it your position that this debt is a marital debt?
I would believe it not to be a marital debt. I was unaware of it.
Are there any other debts that you're aware of that we haven't talked about already?
No.
Did both of you work during the marriage?
Yes,
But there is no dispute that you did make more than your wife. Is that correct?
I did make more than my wife.
You married in 2002, was it?
Yes,
So you've almost been married 21 years. Am I correct?
correct.
Is there anything about your wife that prevents her from working?
No, there's not anything that prevents her from working.
If you were to be awarded the house, you would have to buy her out and pay her $95,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Would that be a substantial windfall
For
of
her,
cash for her, do you think?
that would be a substantial cash windfall for her.
How old are you?
I am 47,
And how old is she?
43.
Can you afford to pay spousal support to Amber?
No,
Why not?
I got to keep up on bills, utility bills and such. And I know she's capable of working also.
What kind of bills do you currently have?
Credit card bills, housing bills, insurance, um, utilities,
What kind of housing bills?
insurance, housing insurance, maintenance costs.
If, on the other hand, the court were to order that she gets the marital home, you would have to find a new home. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that would likely mean paying a mortgage or paying rent to someone. Is that also correct?
That is correct.
You started your current job after she left you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And is $100,000 even per year the most you've ever made at a job?
That is the most I've ever made at a job.
What were you making at your last job?
My last job, I made $87,000 a year, and that was with overtime.
And that was the last place you worked at before filing for this divorce. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And this is the job that you were fired from in late March?
That is the job I was fired from.
Are you currently cohabitating with anyone?
No, I am not.
To the best of your knowledge, is Amber?
She is living in a man's house.
But do you know if they're living together as a couple or simply as roommates?
I do not know.
And that's okay. Have you violated any court orders in this case?
No, I have not.
Can you afford to pay Amber's attorney fees?
No, I cannot.
Why not?
I have bills to pay. I'm paying my attorney fees. Yeah.
Your Honor, will bear with me a moment to look at my notes.
Okay.
I have no further questions for this witness at this time.
Okay, Ms. Kirkpatrick, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. So, Mr. Party, how many children altogether do you have with my client?
4.
Okay, and so you have a child who's an adult, Quentin, correct?
Yeah, Quentin is an adult. Now, when I met Amber, she had a child, Bryce, which I raised as my own, but legally is not mine.
Okay, how old is Quentin?
Quentin is 20,
How old is Bryce?
23.
Okay, and where's Quentin living currently?
Quentin is currently at it'd be Amber's mom's house in Jamestown, Ohio, because he is watching her. He went down there he told me originally it was 2 weeks to go help grandma while she had heart surgery. And I just talked to him the other day and he's like, it's been going on I've been down here a long time. He wants to come home. I don't know why he's still down there.
So, did your folks give him $10,000 as a graduation present?
Yes,
Okay. Was that his money or was that your money or Amber's money?
that is Quentin's money.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, he put it into an account with Amber?
Yes,
Okay. But now you want his money to be divided between you and Amber?
from my understanding, Quentin said that his mother has the money and put it in a safe place because the account it was in has been closed.
Okay, I'm asking you, sir, do you believe that Quentin's $10,000 gift should be divided between you and Amber?
That is Quentin's money.
It's
I want-
Quentin's money.
I want to make sure Quentin gets the money.
Okay, and so whether it is at my client's house or in her purse or in an account at First Third Bank, are you saying that it is his money and not yours and not Amber's?
Currently, it is in Amber's possession.
Sir, do you believe that there is a Fifth Third account that has $10,590 in it that should be divided between you and Amber?
That account has been closed.
Okay, so is the answer yes or no?
I don't understand your question.
Is there $10,590 that you believe should be divided between you and Amber?
Yes,
Where did it come from?
I answered that question already.
No, I don't know. Where did it come from?
I don't understand your question. I feel like I'm getting asked the same question.
Is there an asset of your marriage that is $10,590 that came from you and Amber and had nothing to do with your son Quentin?
There was a bank account with that amount of money in it with Amber's name and Quentin's name on it.
Okay. Is that money Quentin's money?
I believe it should be Quentin's money. He currently does not have it.
So wherever it is Quentin's money. Is that correct?
Yes, and Quentin has said that his mother has it.
Okay. So there is no $10,590 asset between you and Amber that needs to be divided.
I think it should be divided. I want to make sure Quentin gets his money.
Okay. So you believe that my client has taken that money and won't give it to Quentin?
I don't know the circumstances other than what I've already told you.
And so if you get half of it, you're saying you would give it to Quentin?
That is Quentin's money.
All right. So, were you advised that your son Quentin purchased a car while the divorce has been pending?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Were you advised by anybody that your son Quentin purchased a 2009 Toyota Sienna station wagon while this divorce has been pending?
I was not advised of it. I found out about it.
Okay.
Inherently.
Is that Quentin's car?
Yes, Quentin bought that car.
Okay, so you have no interest in it, and neither does Amber. Is that true?
That's true.
Sir, prior to your children being homeschooled, where did they go to school?
Battle Creek Public Schools.
Okay, and why did they stop attending Battle Creek Public Schools?
That was the time COVID-19 came out.
So I believe you testified that they started being homeschooled in 2018. Is that true, sir?
Here's Sammy's card for public schools for the 2018-2019 school year. So excuse me if my date might not be as accurate as you think, but that's the general time frame.
Okay, and what is that that you had in your hand? What school did it say Sammy went to?
Northwestern Middle School.
Okay, what school is that in the district of?
Battle Creek Public Schools.
Okay. So how did your kids end up being taken out of Battle Creek Public Schools?
Amber wanted to homeschool them.
Okay, why?
She wanted the challenge.
Sir, isn't it true that you were dissatisfied with Battle Creek Public Schools for your children?
That is not true.
Okay, is it true that the children were being bullied and you went down to school and yelled at a principal about it?
That is not true.
Okay, is it true that any of your children were actually placed in Gull Lake schools around that period of time?
Gull Lake schools? No.
Okay, how about Galesburg, Augusta? Did any of your children attend there?
Quentin we enrolled him in Galesburg, Augusta,
Why?
to try to open him up and get him to be more social with people. He seemed kind of like something was, his personality, he just needed a different perspective. So we thought long and hard about that and trying to offer him a new avenue to maybe help open him up and then make his learning better, because his grades were not good. So we wanted to get him in a different environment see if that would help his grades.
Okay, but only Amber wanted to homeschool?
Amber wanted to homeschool.
Okay, and how do you believe that the homeschooling has gone with the boys?
Well, homeschooling, I have yet to see the curriculum. She will not share that information with me other than it's online. I'm not saying homeschooling's bad, but it's something the kids learn. But I see the kids need to be more social with more kids their age, have the ability and option of more selection of clubs and activities that public schools offer. I think it would be very beneficial for their education, their well-being, and being more social.
So you lived with Amber until the end of March 2023, is that correct?
Why do you say the end of March?
Just asking to pick a date, sir. Did you live with her, just you pick a date that, until 2023?
Well, on the day after Easter, April 10th, she went to go visit family, because her mom had some heart surgery and she wanted to see them because they, they're older. So she verified she made it down there. And, I talked to her a couple times during those 2 weeks she was down there.
Okay, sir. So between 2018 and April 10th of 2023, did you ever ask Amber to look at the curriculum that she was using for your sons?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and did she show it to you?
No, she did not.
In 5 years, she didn't show you?
No.
Okay, well, what did you do about that?
I kept asking her. I've even asked about getting them back into public schools, and she would not cooperate.
Okay, what did you do towards trying to get them back into public schools?
That's why we're here.
Sir, are you saying that you filed for divorce because you wanted to get your children in public school?
No, please do not make assumptions.
All right. So, Amber hasn't been back to the marital home since April 10th, 2023. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. And so were you concerned with where she was going to be able to have to live with the children?
Very concerned. I didn't know where my children were or she was for over 9 weeks. She wouldn't tell me where she was at.
Okay, so let's say in June of 2023, now you know where she's living, now you know where she's got your sons. Were you concerned about her having any money to be able to support them?
I'm not concerned. My kids are well taken care of.
How are they well taken care of?
My kids are well taken care of.
Okay. You've indicated that you were fired from your previous job in the spring of 2023, correct?
I was fired from my job.
Why were you fired?
Insubordination.
What does that mean, sir?
It means a lot of things. I could just not like something that I said. It's a really vague term. I truly don't know why I was fired, but that's what it was for.
What was that company?
what was that?
What was the name of the company you worked at?
Emo Technologies,
And how long had you been there?
over 10 years.
All right. And you then did not work again until August 28th, 2023?
Sounds about right.
Okay. And did you provide any financial support to your wife, Amber, prior to the end of August 2023?
Hello?
Hi, can you answer the question?
Hello?
Jerry, can you hear us?
Hello?
Jerry, can you hear it? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you hear the last question?
No, I did not.
Did you provide any financial support for Amber or the kids prior to the end of August 2023?
Yes.
What did you provide?
There were credit cards that were paid. There's child support that was paid.
Okay. And did you consider allowing her to live in the house with the boys and you going somewhere else?
No.
Okay. All right.
I offered to have the boys come live with me.
Did you think that that was reasonable under the circumstances, that the kids just stay with you full time and she lives somewhere else?
I think it is reasonable for the kids to stay with me full time. Yes.
Okay. So, with the exception of the job at the church that you testified to with Amber, how long had it been since she had had a different job?
It's been a few years. I'd have to find some records if you wanted an exact date.
Okay. Did you and Amber have an understanding that you were going to work and she was going to take care of the children in the household?
I always encouraged her to get a job to help with the finances.
However, can you answer my question? Did you have an understanding with her that she was going to take care of the house and the children?
No.
Okay. So would it be true that for 18 or 19 years that she had no employment while living with you, taking care of the house and the children, but that you were upset about it?
She has had employment during those years.
Okay. So have you been upset about her being lesser employed than you all these years?
I'm not a person that gets upset. I try to discuss things with people.
Okay. Okay. How long has your home been paid in full?
I'm guessing at this, maybe 8 years.
Okay. So for the past 8 years, then your housing expenses was in insurance and taxes and maintenance
And food and cars and
for the house.
there's maintenance. Yeah, it takes a lot of money.
All right. And was it necessary with what you were earning for Amber to get employment?
Yes.
She just refused to do it?
She got a job at the church.
So, sir, while this case has been pending, did you believe that her job at the church was going to be able to sustain her, be able to pay bills so that she could pay for a place to live and gas for a car and a vehicle and food and all these things?
I don't understand your question. That might be something you need to ask her.
Sir, can you answer my question? Did you believe that that job was going to be enough to pay her expenses?
I don't understand your question.
much money was your wife earning from the church?
You'd have to ask her for an exact number.
Okay. Do you have an approximation?
Couple $1,000s a year.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's say that she earned $2,000 a year working at the church. Was that going to be enough money to get her an apartment, get her and your boys an apartment or a home and food and medical care and anything else they needed?
I understand she's currently working somewhere else. Do you need to include that in there too?
Okay. Sir, could you please answer my question?
I don't understand your question.
Did you believe that $2,000 was going to pay all the expenses that she would have for herself and your children?
I don't understand your question.
Sir, have you been medicated this morning?
No, I have not.
Sir, do you understand that you have child support arrearages that are owed to my client?
I've gotten a letter in the mail from the friend of court.
So you understand that there's child support that you owe but have not paid. Is that true?
That from what I read from the friend of court is, if that's what you're referring to.
Okay. Why haven't you paid it?
That friend of the court takes care of garnishing that.
So I believe that you testified that you have $13,000 in a savings account at this point.
There is not $13,000 in a savings account at this point.
Okay.
I don't know why you think I have money right now. I'm at zero. I too am struggling. I hope you realize that.
So you have zero money at this point?
You asked why I didn't pay arrearages, although the friend of court takes care of that. But as you know, I did not have a job. I don't know why you would ask those questions.
Okay. Sir, have you been concerned about your wife having appropriate transportation to be able to drive your children around?
She has appropriate transportation to drive my children around.
Okay, so she's got a Honda Civic that's worth $758 to drive herself and your 4 kids around. You think that's appropriate transportation?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sir, how well have you worked with my client since June of 2023 in regards to the parenting time arrangement with the children?
We have been following the parenting time schedule.
Okay. Did it get brought to your attention that your boys had been working on 4-H projects and wanted to show them at the fair?
Yes, I took them to the fair.
Okay. So did your wife, Amber, did she ask you if you would allow her to take the boys to the fair?
She wanted the boys to be at the fair, whether she took them or I took them.
Okay. Did you originally say, oh, sure, no problem, I'll take the boys to the fair?
Originally, we tried to rearrange a weekend, and then their school was supposed to start, and then school start date moved, and it kind of changed everything. So there's a lot that went on here that is in between. The important part is the kids did make it to their 4-H project, and I was more than happy to take them. She knows that I would have taken them either way.
Okay. And what kind of things have you done with this summer with the kids by way of camping?
The kids went camping. I know they got the camping supplies out of the basement to go camping with their friends.
Okay. So were you aware that Amber took the boys to a homeschool camping trip in the summer of 2023?
I think they went camping a few times.
Okay. Now you just indicated that they asked to borrow camping equipment from the basement. Did they?
Well, yeah, they picked out which camping equipment they want to take. They took it. They bring it back here for storage because where they're living at now, That quite honestly smells like dog urine and cat urine, and there's dog and cat hair everywhere. Can't really get that smell out of the tent.
Okay. Did you allow Amber to just keep the camping items that she used at the camping trip?
Did she keep any?
Was she allowed to just have them in her possession and not have to bring them back to the house?
I don't know. Did she keep any?
Sir, I'm not asking I'm asking you the question. You're not asking me the question.
I don't think
Did you require her to bring all the stuff back home to the house?
Requirement is a big word. I did not require. No, I asked.
Okay. And so did Amber advise you that your 2-hour visit, or 4-hour visit, the Wednesday visit for parenting time, was on one of the days that the kids were going camping?
Yes, and she offered to bring them back so that I could see them on my parenting time schedule.
Okay. Did she ask you to not make her drive from South Haven back to Battle Creek just for that period of time so that they could not have their camping trip interrupted?
I wanted to maintain the parenting time schedule, and she did offer to drive them to me so that I could see them. So
what I'm getting at is, did she ask you to let them off the hook to save her several hours of driving?
no, she did not.
Okay, she didn't ask you. Okay. Okay. Has she asked you for any changes in the schedule since you guys have been working on this parenting time schedule?
We've tried moving an hour here and there and days, and it seems that just keeping the schedule is the best thing.
Okay. So you don't believe that being flexible to accommodate your children and her on occasion is the best way to go?
That's a false statement.
So you do think that being flexible is a good thing?
I am flexible at this. Please don't accuse me of being non-flexible.
Sir, you have to answer my questions going forward, okay?
Can you please repeat the question?
Sir? All right. Now, you have indicated that you want week on, week off parenting time with the children all the time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that you want the home awarded to you because you're comfortable in it, correct?
I would like the home awarded to me.
Okay. Do you think that you should have to pay my client for half of the value of the home?
I will pay my client half the value of the home.
Okay. Now, sir, we put onto the record a division of approximately 35 pinball machines earlier today. You recall that?
Yes, we talked about the pinball machines earlier.
How long have you and Amber been collecting these pinball machines?
Over several years.
Okay. And is it true that some of them cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 each?
They vary in price.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Kirkpatrick, what's the relevance of this if they've divided those up?
I'm asking for a payment method because I'm talking about a different issue.
Okay, well then why are we talking about the pinball machines then?
Because I want to know where the money came from that paid for them.
How is that relevant? If they bought them during the marriage and they've agreed to divide those as per the settlement, why is it important where the monies came for?
Okay, I will get it in a different manner.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Pardik, did you and Amber keep a safe in your home with cash in it?
There were birthday cards in a safe along with card titles and birth certificates. There might have been $80 in there.
Did you go to the safe to take cash out of it to make major purchases?
No.
Okay. All right. And so are you saying that you kept all your funds in the bank?
I kept all my funds in the bank.
Okay. So Sir, do you have a folder or packet of your wife's medical records?
No, I do not.
Okay. Has she asked you before to return to her medical records?
I recall her asking, and what I found was a recipe book,
Okay.
not a medical record. She can get her medical records from her doctor.
Okay. But what about the ones that she had in your home? Where did they go?
There are no medical records in the home.
Okay. And how about the titles to vehicles and other, documentation like that, social security cards and birth certificates and those types of things? Where were those kept?
Those were kept in the safe as I described earlier.
Okay. So where is all that stuff?
Ask Amber.
So is the answer to that question, I don't know?
I don't know where it is. There's nothing in the safe. And I know I've asked Amber for my car title for the Mustang, and she refuses to return it to me.
Okay.
I know she was in there.
So when Amber left the home on April 10th, 2023, was she ever able to get any more clothes or shoes or anything like that?
She did come in. She came over when my mother was here after the first hearing on June 6th to get some clothes. And she got a bunch of pills, the beach umbrella, gave her a glass of water with ice in it.
Okay. Did she recently ask you for winter clothes now that it's getting cold?
Yeah, she asked for some winter clothes, so I got them together and I tried to give them to her and she would not take them.
Okay. Did you come to a parenting time exchange with some trash bags, stuff full of clothing and stuff?
I came to parenting time with clothes in the back of the car.
Okay. Did you allow her to look through them and see what she needed?
It would have taken hours to go through them.
So the answer is no.
I told her that she can take one bag, go through it. She can return the bag to me if she has nowhere or to store it. I offered that. She wouldn't even take one bag.
Okay.
I believe
She
I had
asked-
the recording.
Did she ask if she could go to the home and look in the drawers and find clothes that she needed?
I do not feel comfortable having her come to the house.
Did she ask if she could do that?
She did ask.
Okay. Did she ask if she could do that with a police officer standing by?
I don't recall that.
Okay. All right. So ultimately, she does not have her clothing at this time. It's in the house.
She has some of her clothing. She took a bag previously in the year,
Okay.
and I'm more than willing to bring her the stuff. But like this last time she asked, she didn't want to take it, which I thought was weird.
So let's say the court orders you that you are able to keep the house and refinance it and pay off my client. Is she going to be able to come in then and remove her items?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, you have indicated that you have health insurance right now for the boys. Is that true?
That is true.
So when you got the health insurance most recently with your new job, you did not sign up my client?
No.
Okay. And you didn't sign up your son Quentin either?
No.
Why not?
I signed up children 18 years of age and under and myself.
So can you tell me what is incorrect about the recent order that was entered by the court as far as child support?
I'm sorry, I have not looked at it in great detail to answer your question.
So you don't know what might be wrong with it?
I know I have medical insurance, and I know there's a spot on there that talks about it. I have not physically done the math or crunched the numbers. This is all very recent that this came about.
Okay. So, sir, do you think that you should be responsible for the bills at the home that have been accrued while my client is not living there?
I am responsible for the bills at this home
Okay.
while she is not living here.
How about your trash bill?
That has been paid. That has been paid.
Okay. Did you argue with her about paying $15 for the trash bill?
No, I did not argue with her whatsoever. I did not get the bill. She had forwarded the mail to her house. I have paid that.
Okay.
That has been paid. I'm not arguing about it. That has been paid.
Why are you keeping all of my client's mail?
I'm not keeping her mail. She has her mail forwarded by the U.S. Postal Service to where she is living. As the U.S. Postal Services actually sends a letter here saying that her mail is all being forwarded. That her mail is being forwarded to her house.
Okay, so you have no packages with her name on it on your countertop?
Nope.
If the boys said there were, would that be incorrect?
Hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay. Mr. Umhoff, any redirect?
Your Honor. I was a little confused, Mr. Pardeek, regarding when the boys started homeschooling. You gave a couple different years where they may have started, and you at one point produced a student ID card. Did that refresh your memory?
Yeah, the student ID card shows me when they were in school.
Okay, and that was from what year?
This is 2018 to 2019 school year for Sammy.
Okay.
I just found this today. It just kind of showed up.
So it doesn't sound like they started homeschooling in 2018.
That's what I would assume.
Was there a point in time where one of the children or two of the children were homeschooled, but not all three?
I believe it all occurred at the same time.
You were asked regarding homeschooling, and you stated that because you want them back in public schools, that's why we're here today. You didn't mean that was the only reason that we're here today, is it?
That is not the only reason we are here today.
And I think that's clear from your testimony. Is it true that after separation, you tried to contact Amber several times to find out how the boys were doing?
That is true.
Didn't she respond to you by telling you that the children were being well taken care of?
She would say things like they have beds and they're fed. That's about all the information I would get from her. It was not a fun time for me.
And you weren't sure where she was, were you?
I had no idea where she was at. I thought she went to Ohio. Later I found out when the credit card statement came that she never went to Ohio.
So based on her statements, you believe that the children were being, even if you couldn't see them, she was taking care of them.
She had them in her possession. She was taking care of them.
And she did not say anything to lead you to believe that they were homeless or starving. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did she ask you for money during that period of time?
She never asked me for money during that period of time.
Are you aware of how long it takes the state of Michigan to process a child support order and begin taking payments out of a person's checks or garnishing in some way?
Based on what I've been seeing, it seems like it takes a month or two.
Okay. But you did nothing to stop that from happening, did you?
Absolutely nothing to impede that or stop that. I don't understand the whole process, to be honest with you. I know the friend of court takes care of it.
Well, why is it that you're not comfortable having your wife in the home with you at this point?
Some of the allegations that you and I discussed.
We're not getting into privileged communication.
I'm not sure how to answer this question.
Well, don't tell me about any privileged attorney-client communications. Just tell me what has happened that makes you uncomfortable having Amber in your house.
The way she left, and later she told me she went to a domestic violence shelter that she told my sister that, which then I learned that over a month after she left, and so I don't feel comfortable, is she going to call the police on me because I looked at her wrong? I don't need no trouble. I don't need any of that kind of stuff going on, or, I looked at her wrong or touched me or, I'm not that kind of person, and I don't want to be in that position at this moment during the divorce.
And further, you're aware of the allegations she's made about you in this divorce case based on the court filings. Is that right?
I've read them.
Yeah. And are they false?
They are false.
Your Honor, I would indicate that I would object to this testimony. He's discussing something that is not on the record, determining whether it be true or false. So I believe it's not relevant, and we haven't established the actual allegation that he's now denying.
Yeah, for starters, Your Honor, I think the court can take judicial notice of what's been filed with the court, with pleadings and even the motions. And the reason I'm bringing out this testimony is to show why he is uncomfortable having the defendant, in the marital home with him at this time.
Court will allow the questions. Ms. Kirkpatrick, you did delve into that substantially during your cross-examination, and the court's not required to wait until you bring that up with some other witnesses before it can be questioned of the plaintiff. So I do think it's proper. Go ahead.
And did those types of accusations also make you feel uncomfortable having Amber in the home with you?
Yes, they make me feel uncomfortable.
And nothing further for this witness. I would reserve the right to call him as a rebuttal witness.
Okay. Ms. Kirkpatrick, any recross?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I do have some questions, sir, for you. First, you stated that the time when the issue came up concerning the fair, and you said that you stated that there were some issues because you said the school start dates moved. Well, the kids aren't in school, so what difference does the school start dates have to do?
The parenting time schedule is based on the public school schedule. So when during the summer session, a week on, week off, and then when the school start, Battle Creek Public School started, that's when we went to the school schedule for parenting time. So we had rearranged the weekend and some days, that she could take them and trade them for another day. But then the last minute we find out that the school actually changed and moved the date a couple weeks out. So that meant I got them, the full week instead of a partial week. We kept the week on, week off till that school schedule started. So that, that's why.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the clarification. When you went through the debts, you said that there was a debt owed to Fifth Third credit card in the amount of $432. You said you paid that off. When did you pay that off?
When the amount was there.
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. So
yeah, you have a date on when I'm trying to look at these.
I have no dates. That's why I'm asking you for a date, sir.
You're asking me for the date. Okay, let me find the list here. I got a stack of.
Well,
papers.
approximately. If you don't know the exact date, the month. Was it before filing, after filing, what?
I would say May. Yeah, around shortly after the filing time, May.
And then you mentioned that there was a Fifth Third credit card in your name of $5,212 that was paid off. When was that paid off?
About the same time. May.
And likewise, the credit card or the Cabela's credit card, $516. When was that paid?
That'd be in May.
You stated that the defendant had an Advia credit union credit account of approximately $3,000. And you said you found out about that following the filing of this case, and you believe that it was not a marital debt because you were not aware of it. What else believes or leads you to believe that it was not a marital debt other than that you didn't know about it previously?
That's all. I had no idea that that debt was even taken.
Thank you.
Was it your understanding that that $3,000 loan was a loan for Bryce, the oldest child?
I do not know what that loan was for. I did not know anything about it.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you. That looks like that concludes your testimony for now, Mr. Pardik. Court will now note it's 11:34. I didn't know, did you have a quick witness, Mr. Umloff, or is it somebody
Oh.
that's going to be longer than maybe 15 minutes?
The court messaged me on Zoom indicating that my client's sister, Paula Saunders, was in the waiting room. I initially indicated I'd be calling her this afternoon because I didn't know how much longer we would be here. But if she's still in the waiting room, I'm happy to take her now. I do think I can be brief. And do you know my client, Jerry Pardeek?
Yes, I do.
How do you know him?
He is my younger brother.
All right. Do you know his children, Samuel, Logan, and Elijah?
I do.
And have you had an opportunity to watch Jerry interact with his sons?
Yes,
Based on your observations, how is he as a father?
he is an absolutely great father.
Do they have a strong, loving bond?
Yes,
Do they show one another love and affection?
yes, they do.
Does he handle discipline appropriately?
Yes, he does.
How often do you get the chance to see them together?
Well, we see them in the summer. We get together a couple days. Thanksgiving, Christmas. The boys have gone out on our boat with us. We go over their house 1 to 2 times a year for a barbecue. They come over here in February, so multiple times throughout the year.
Do you have any concerns regarding Jerry as a father?
I do not.
Have you ever seen Jerry act in a way that was abusive towards his children?
I have not.
What about his wife?
I have not.
And nothing further. Thank you.
Okay.
Hold on, you might have some questions by Ms. Kirkpatrick. Ms. Kirkpatrick, any cross-examination?
Yes, Miss Saunders, where do you live?
I live in Saline, Michigan.
How far is that approximately from your brother's home?
About an hour and a half.
Okay. Have you been down to the home in 2023, your brother's
Yeah.
home?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. And did the boys come up to see you over the summer without my client?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Anything else, Mr. Umloff, has resolved that?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Saunders, thank you for your testimony. You're excused. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, at this point, it's now 11:38. I don't think we have anyone else. Another short witness. Do you, Mr. Umloff?
I do not, Your Honor. I have no further witnesses, and in fact, would rest reserving the right to call my client as a rebuttal witness.
Okay. Okay. And Ms. Kirkpatrick, you can call your first witness.
Yes, I'm
Oh,
going
hold
to
on. Sorry. You had reserved on your opening. I didn't know if you wanted to do the opening or waive it at this point.
I've decided to waive at this point, and I will call my client to the stand.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Amber, how old are you?
43.
And are you married?
Yes.
How long you been married?
Almost 21 years.
Okay. And is Jerry Pardeek your husband?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
We have 4 children together, and I have 1 older child.
Okay. And are they all boys?
Yes, they're all boys.
Okay, so 5.
5 boys.
And your oldest is 20 years old?
23. My oldest.
Your oldest with Jerry
is 20.
is
Yes.
20 years old. Okay. All right. And his name is Quentin.
Yes.
How recently did he live at home?
That was in February, I think, of this year.
So February 2023?
Yeah.
Okay. Has he graduated from high school?
Yes, he has.
Okay. And do you live currently at, okay. How do you come to be in that home?
Me and the boys went to a domestic violence shelter, and you can only stay there for a month. They gave us a week extension. I kept asking Jerry if he would please go stay with his parents so that we could come back to the house, but he wouldn't. So my friend Cindy offered to take us in. We've been staying with her. She rents the house from the guy that owns it.
Okay. So when Mr. Pardeek described a man in the house and your friend Cindy, excuse me, they are not a couple?
No, they are not. Just friends.
Okay. And so Cindy rents from the man
Yes.
and then she subleases to you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you pay anything to stay in that home?
No, I don't.
And when did you move in there?
Mother's Day in May.
Okay. Is that 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And who moved in with you?
Just me, Sammy, Logan, Elijah.
Okay. Why didn't Quentin move in with you?
Because there's not really enough room for him, and he's staying with my mom, helping take care of her and my grandma.
Where do they live?
They're down in Ohio.
Okay. Do they live together in the same home?
Yes.
Okay. What part of the home on Reynolds Street do you live in?
We stay in the basement. We have a bedroom and a living room and a bathroom down there, and I have a bedroom on the second story.
Okay. Is it a furnished or unfurnished basement?
It's a furnished basement with carpet and everything.
Okay. Do you have some limited time of how long you can be there?
They would like us to leave as soon as possible.
All right. So you don't intend to stay there forever?
No,
All right. Now, where do the children sleep in the home?
all three of them sleep in the basement.
Okay. What are their sleeping arrangements?
They each have their own bed.
Okay. Where do you eat?
We eat down in the basement too. We have a refrigerator and a microwave.
Okay. Do you have a table?
No,
Okay. Where do you shower?
we have to use the upstairs shower in the second story.
Okay. And did you say that your bedroom is upstairs?
Yes,
So the boys are in the basement with their 3 beds?
yes.
Okay. Is this all one big room or does it have divided rooms?
The basement is one big room with a smaller bedroom off of it and a utility room with a bathroom in it.
Okay. All right. Where generally do you do the homeschooling?
Downstairs in the living room area.
Okay. And you said you moved in on Mother's Day, 2023?
Yes,
And have you been there every night since then?
yes.
Okay. Now, when you left the marital home, what kind of things did you take with you?
The shelter only lets you bring 1 bag of clothes per person, so that's all we took.
Did you know when you left the marital home that you were going to be going to that shelter?
Yes, I had arranged it with them a couple days before.
Okay. And so did you tell Mr. Pardik you were going to visit your mom in Ohio?
I did.
Okay. Did you go visit your mom in Ohio?
No, I did not.
How long was it until you got in touch with Mr. Pardik?
It was 2 weeks later.
And then how did you get in touch with him?
I went to the house to get the other pets, or all the pets that we had to leave behind.
Okay. So tell us about that. Why did you go there?
Because I knew that he would not take care of the pets and they would all be dead if we didn't go back soon. So I took a cop and we went and got them. Half the chickens were dead and the cats were both very skinny. And the chinchilla was very skinny and barely still alive. And the parakeet's cage was overflowing and they didn't have food or clean water.
Okay. So how many cats?
2.
How many chinchillas?
1.
How many birds?
2 parakeets.
Okay. And you said you had chickens?
Yeah, we had chickens. I believe there were 13 chickens and half of them were gone, or 6 of them were gone.
Dead or missing?
Missing. There were feathers, but the rest of them was gone.
Okay. Did you have some type of chicken house over at the home?
Yeah, we had a coop that was pretty much critter proof. Sammy would go out every night and lock them up, and we never lost any chickens when he was locking them up.
Okay. So what did you do with the remaining chickens?
I found a farm down in Coldwater that is holding them for us until we have somewhere to take them.
Okay. What did you do with the 2 cats?
They're with us in the basement.
How about the 1 chinchilla
He's in the basement too.
and the 2 birds?
They're upstairs in my bedroom.
Okay.
There's also a bearded dragon.
So a lizard.
Yeah, she's in the
Okay.
basement with the boys too.
Okay. All right. Have all those things remained with you?
Yes.
Okay. Were there some dogs?
Yes, my son had a dog that had puppies, and so there was the mom dog and 1 puppy left at the house. I had to take them down to my mom's house because Jerry kept threatening to drown them in the creek because he just really doesn't like dogs at all.
When you say your son's dog, you remember that you have 5 sons. So which
Oh,
son?
yeah, Bryce's dog.
Okay. And was that prior to you leaving the home?
Yes, him and his girlfriend lived together in January. They broke up on New Year's Day, and then he ended up coming to stay with us for a few days
With his dog?
with the dogs. Yeah, there was a mom and 3 puppies then.
And that was a problem for Mr. Pardik?
Yes, he came home from work and he was very angry and started yelling and screaming at us and saying I had to get rid of the dogs or he was going to do something to them. And he said I had to take them to the Humane Society by Friday or he would take care of it, meaning they would be killed.
Okay, so what did you do?
I called his girlfriend and I ended up taking her ex-girlfriend and I got her to take the dogs back for a while.
How'd they end up at your mother's house?
Eventually she couldn't keep them anymore and we found homes for 2 of the puppies, but not the 3rd. So I had to bring them back to the house and Bryce was staying with a friend because he just can't stay at the house with Jerry and everybody else. And so the dogs were there with us and he kept threatening us. And as I had him in the house one day when I was trying to fix a pen for them, and he was screaming. I could hear him from outside with the door shut and went in and tried to save the kids from getting yelled at. So then I decided to take him to my mom.
Okay. Now, Amber, can you tell us, after you and Jerry married, have you ever had a full-time job?
No, I have not ever.
Okay. And your first son must have been born right after your marriage. Is that correct?
Yes, I was pregnant with him when we got married.
Okay. Have you ever had paid work during your marriage?
Yes, but I never worked more than a few hours a week at a time.
Okay. Was there at one point, did you babysit for a living?
I did daycare 3 days a week with a friend. She had an in-home daycare, and I took all 3 of the boys with me that we had at the time.
Were you paid to do that?
Yeah, it's $5 an hour.
Okay. How long ago was that?
Sammy was an infant, so it would have been 2006, 2007, something like that.
Okay, so 2006, 2007. When is the next time that you had paid employment?
Well, while I was doing the daycare, I caught Jerry cheating on me, so then I got another job working at Bath and Body Works, and I got an apartment and moved out for a little while, and then I ended up moving back in with him. So I worked at Bath and Body Works for 7 years, making $8 an hour.
Okay.
I only worked 6 hours a week at the most. I couldn't afford to stay in the apartment.
How long were you and Jerry separated?
Only 4 days.
Okay, and then you went back home.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said when you worked at Bath and Body Works, you never worked more than 6 hours per week?
No, never.
Okay. When did you start working at the church?
It was about 5 or 6 years ago.
How did you get that job?
The old person that cleaned that decided that they couldn't do it anymore, so there was a job opening, and my friend Cindy was the secretary at the time, and she told me about it, and I thought it would be good to have something to put on a resume because I wasn't working at the mall anymore at that point.
Okay, and what church is that?
Redemption Lutheran.
Is that the church that you attend?
Yes, it is.
And how many hours would you work cleaning the church?
I work 3 hours a week.
Ever more than 3 hours a week?
Sometimes it'll be 4 hours a week if there's some event and it needs a little extra cleaning. Sometimes it's only 2 hours.
Okay, and how much do you get paid an hour?
$10.46.
Do they give you any type of benefits like medical insurance or retirement?
I get a Christmas bonus of $300, and that has only been the last 2 years that I've gotten that though.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
So when you were working at Bath and Body Works or the daycare back in 2007, or now cleaning the church, when you would get paid, what would you do with your income?
I put it in the bank in the savings account. They had just my name on it.
Okay. And was that agreeable to you and to Jerry?
No, he didn't like it, and eventually he forced me to put his name on there too.
Okay, so is that where it stood at the time of your separation?
Yeah, and then he took all the money out of it.
Okay, so outside of the church cleaning, Bath and Body Works, and the daycare, have you ever had a different job?
No, not in Michigan. In Ohio, I worked at a sub shop and an outlet mall.
Was that before your marriage?
Yeah.
Okay. And so now as separated, have you found other work?
It was really hard, but a friend works at an assisted living place and she gave me a job there.
Okay. So I take it it's direct care?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I help take care of the residents that live there.
When did you start doing that?
It's been about 2 months now. It started with just cleaning. I would come in while they were asleep and work for maybe 2 hours, 3 times a week. But now I'm doing full 12-hour shifts.
Okay.
Twice a week.
Okay. 2 times a week, 12-hour shifts. So that's 24 hours a week?
Yep.
Okay. And how much do you get paid there?
$15 an hour.
Okay. Any other benefits that go along with that?
No.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Are you still cleaning the church?
Yes.
So cleaning the church for 3 hours a week and working at the assisted living for 24 hours a week. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you and Mr. Pardik lived in the marital home?
We bought it in 2007.
Okay. When you bought the home in 2007, was there a mortgage?
Yes, there was, because we also had a house in Golden Avenue, and so we had to have a mortgage until we sold the other house in 2009 and paid off the current house.
So the sale of your previous house paid off the mortgage for your current house?
That and a few payments, 2 years of payments, yeah.
So is it fair to say that 11 or 12 years, your current home has been paid off?
Yes.
Since you've been married to Mr. Purdy, what kinds of jobs has he had?
He's had engineering jobs, and that's all.
Okay. Did he go to school at all while the two of you were married?
No.
Okay. Did he have a college degree?
Yes, he had a bachelor's degree when I met him.
Okay. How about you? How far did you get in school?
I was 6 credit hours away from an associate's degree when I moved up here to be with him.
Okay. Was that down in Ohio?
Yeah,
And during the marriage or before?
before.
What were you trying to get an associate's degree in?
I was going to be a teacher.
Okay. Have you been able to take any classes or go farther in school during your marriage?
No, he said it would be a waste of time and money because I wasn't going to work anyways.
Okay. Do you ever take any types of just one-off classes or anything like that?
I have gone for like a cake decorating class and one about essential oils, just little 3-hour classes at the community college before.
Okay, but nothing towards a degree?
No.
Okay. So when your children were small, after you moved up here to Michigan, what school did they go to?
We've lived in the Harper Creek School District at first. So Bryce started school there. And then when I did the daycare, he went to Waddles Park School. And then when we moved into Urbandale, he went to Battle Creek Public Schools. The other kids started at Battle Creek Public Schools.
Public schools.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do your boys, back then when they were in regular school, how far did they go in school before they were homeschooled?
Bryce graduated from Central. Quentin was a freshman in high school there at Battle Creek Central, but he was doing really awful and he didn't pass any classes at all. We had meetings with the school. The teachers didn't bother to show up. So that was not really any help. We tried, but he just couldn't do anything.
Okay.
Sammy was in 7th grade. He was getting picked on all the time and bullied, and he had to sit out in the hallway to do his work because the kids were so disruptive that he could not pay attention during class. Logan was in 4th grade. He does really well in school, but the class got in trouble a lot, and he spent a good chunk of the year with his head down on the desk, not being allowed to go to gym or art or anything like that. Recess, getting punished a lot for other things. Elijah was only in 1st grade. His class was still young and pretty well behaved, that he didn't have any trouble.
Okay, so you said that Quentin had a lot of trouble in school.
Yeah, he always has.
Okay. Does he have any special needs?
The school tested him twice, but didn't find anything. They would give him extra help during tests, like give him extra time or stuff like that. But
Okay.
he's never been diagnosed with anything.
Okay. And so was his problem behavioral, or you just couldn't do the work?
He just couldn't do the work.
Okay. Did you or you and Jerry try to do something to help him?
Yeah, I tried. I even went to school with him one day and sat in on his classes, and a lot of it was just so many distractions that there was no way he could pay attention, and nobody else was doing the work, so he wasn't going to do it either.
Okay. Did you ever move his school from Battle Creek to a different school district?
Yeah, we moved him to Galesburg, Augusta for a year, and then COVID hit, so he had to switch to online school through them, and then it just got to be really bad where he wasn't learning anything again.
Okay. Was he the only child that went to Galesburg, Augusta?
Yes.
Okay, so the year he went to Galesburg, Augusta, where did Sammy, Logan, and Elijah go?
They were home with me. I homeschooled all 3 of them.
Okay. Why didn't you start Quentin out at home with the other 3 boys?
He's just a lot to deal with. He needed a lot of one-on-one help, and the other boys did too because they were kind of behind where they should have been in grades and stuff. So I needed to spend more time helping them one-on-one. And we thought maybe Quentin could get more help at the school.
Okay. So did you and Jerry agree that that schooling was a problem for the kids at that point?
Yes.
Okay. Did you and Jerry talk about what you might do to fix things?
Yeah, I had said something about homeschooling once, and then he decided that that was going to be the solution and that I was going to homeschool him.
Okay. So did you hear Jerry today? He said that the opposite of that he didn't want them to be in homeschool.
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay. Did you and Jerry try to fix things over at Battle Creek Public First?
Yes, we did. We had several meetings with all the schools.
Hang on. Did somebody say something? Oh, I'm
Not
sorry.
that I heard it.
Okay, go ahead.
We had several meetings with the schools and tried to get them help, and I wasn't getting anywhere. So eventually Jerry stepped in and tried to help too. And that's when he got in the one principal's face and was yelling at him. And I think he just made it worse. And then we just took him out after that. It wasn't helping anyways.
There you are. Now, Sammy was in 7th, Logan in 4th, and Elijah in 1st. What did you do to prepare yourself to homeschool these kids?
The pastor of our church, his wife homeschools their 7 children. So I went to their house for a day and watched what they did and had her show me where to get curriculums and things like that. And I talked to some other homeschool parents from our 4-H group to see what they would do. I did a lot of research.
Okay. And where did you end up getting your material to teach the kids?
I ended up ordering paper books online, and then the next year we switched to something else. And I believe it took 3 years before we found a curriculum that we really liked, that the boys were getting a lot out of.
Okay. How did you go about? Did they sit down at the kitchen table, or how did you go about teaching them?
Yeah, we were all in the living room together, and they would all be in separate seats, and I would have them come to me one at a time and tell them what to do or help them do it if they needed to.
Okay. And was Jerry helping you
No.
homeschool the kids?
No, he never did.
Did he do anything?
If there were math problems we couldn't figure out, sometimes he would help with those, but he would make it so complicated that it wasn't worth the trouble, and it was easier to ask Google.
Okay. So how did the boys respond to being taught at home?
They did way better. They were all behind in reading except for Logan, and they all caught up to grade level. They're all reading really well now, and they're all caught up in math. They are all where they should be now on everything. And they're a lot more social and outgoing than they used to be. They used to be very shy, not really talk at school at all. And now they're not like that at all.
Now, you mentioned 4-H. Were the boys in 4-H prior to you homeschooling?
Yes, they were.
How long have they been active with 4-H?
Since Elijah was 8 years old. Was the first year we did it.
Okay, and
So
he's
that would have been
13?
2018. So the year before we started homeschooling.
Okay. Now, are you involved in any like mothers groups or anything for your church to get kids together for homeschooling?
Yeah, we have a hiking group, and we have a history class that we go to with other kids, and an art class. And we just have a group. The boys call themselves the Wild Boys. We get together and they talk to each other pretty much every day. They're the best of friends. They're all other homeschooled kids.
Okay, so the history group, how often do you get together?
Every other week on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Okay, and is these are other homeschooled kids?
Yes, 2 other homeschooled families.
And do the mothers get together with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes we get together and go to an art class, or sometimes we go out to eat.
Okay. How often do they get involved in their 4-H group?
That's once a month.
Okay. You mentioned art class. How often do you do that?
That's every other Friday.
And is that all homeschool kids too?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, I think you said there was a cost for that.
Yeah, it's $10 per kid for every class.
Is that for the materials?
Yeah, for the paint and all the supplies.
Okay. Do you ever volunteer to teach?
Yeah, sometimes I teach the painting, and then she lets my kids paint for free.
Okay. Now, you said there was a hiking group?
Yeah, we're more active in the winter time, but we like to try to go once a week and go hiking. Sometimes it doesn't happen once a week, but that's the goal. Even in the snow, we try out different trails, and the kids just have a great time.
And that's all homeschool kids too?
Yes.
So the Wild Boys you were talking about, how many kids are there that get together?
There's 14 boys and 6 moms.
Okay. Do you do outings with them?
Yeah, we have parties with them. We had a Halloween party, a bonfire, and a haunted trail, and we took turns. We let the kids scare the adults, and then the adults hid and scared the kids, and it was a great time. We do it every year.
Okay. Have you ever had the boys involved in any sports or extracurricular activities like that?
Yes, the 3 older ones used to play soccer when they were young, and when Logan was born, they still played for a while, but it got to be really hard on me to take 3 kids to practices and games by myself and keep track of everybody. And then when Elijah was born, I just couldn't do it anymore, so we had to stop.
Okay. Why were you doing it by yourself?
Jerry said I signed him up for it, so it was my problem to figure it out.
Okay. How about 4-H? Did he help you with that?
No, he did not. He said pretty much the same thing about 4-H. It was my problem. I decided to volunteer and do it, so I had to figure it out. It was all on me.
Okay. Were there any activities that you were doing with the boys or the homeschool groups or extracurricular that Jerry did get involved in?
He came to the Halloween parties. Sometimes there would be a birthday party that he would go to, but nothing else.
Did he come for this year, last week?
No.
Okay. Okay, so do any of those homeschool groups have camping trips?
Yes, we try to go on a camping trip every summer all together. It's always a really good time. We went to South Haven this year.
Was it the Wild Boys group?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And so did you parents go with all the boys?
Yeah, all 6 moms went and all the boys went. No dads went.
Okay. How long was that trip?
It was Tuesday to Friday.
Okay. So did Jerry have a parenting time that was scheduled during that time?
Yes, he did on Wednesday. I asked him if we could trade for Monday, but he wouldn't. So I told him I would drive the boys back so that he would let us go.
Okay. Okay. But you tried to get him to switch with you first?
I tried. I said he could have any day he wanted, but he said no.
Did he say why it was no?
He said that Elijah had confirmation on Wednesday and he needed to go. It was never a problem to miss confirmation before.
So, do you attend the church that you clean at?
Yes, I do.
How long have you attended that church?
I started going there when I was pregnant with Elijah, so 16 years.
16 years. Okay. Did you and Jerry and the boys go as a family?
We did until about 7 years ago, and then Jerry stopped going and only me and the boys went.
Okay. Why did Jerry stop going?
I'm not sure. He just said he didn't want to go anymore. He just didn't get up and go with us anymore.
Not at all?
Easter and Christmas, if there was food there, he would sometimes go, but a lot of times he wouldn't.
Okay. Okay, well, he testified here today that he takes the boys to the church on his weekends.
He only started doing that a couple months ago. And he only goes on the weekends. He has the boys, never when I have them.
Okay. When you have the boys on the weekends, do you take them to church?
Yes, I do.
When you don't have the boys on the weekend, do you go to church?
I do, but a lot of times I babysit and then I don't get a chance to go. But if I'm not babysitting, I do go.
Okay. If that's the case, do you sit by them or do you sit somewhere else?
We all sit in the same pew. The understanding is that we sit very far apart from each other and the kids sit in the middle.
Okay. Is that uncomfortable for the kids?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for me and the kids.
Okay. Do you have any intention of leaving that church to go somewhere else?
No, I don't.
Okay. Tell us about the confirmation you were just talking about. Is that the Lutheran way of joining the church?
Yes, it's kids start when they're in 5th grade and go through 8th grade, and it's once a week during the school year. They take off time at Christmas, and it's from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. And when they're done, they get confirmed, and then they can take communion with the adults.
Okay. So which of your children are involved with that right now?
Right now, Elijah's the only one in it.
Okay. And so that was the problem about Wednesday. Jerry didn't want him to miss confirmation?
Yes.
Okay. Most of the time when the boys were young, was Jerry gainfully employed?
Yes,
Okay. And did he have health insurance
Yeah.
for you and the children?
yes, you did.
Okay. And did he or did both of you take the children to doctors and dentist appointments?
I'm the only one that took them to anything like that.
Okay. Why is that?
He was at work and he didn't want to take off work to do things like that, so I did all of it.
Okay. Did he ever go with you?
No, not that I can recall.
How about since the two of you have been separated? Has he taken any of the boys to the doctor or dentist?
No,
Okay. Do any of the boys have particular medical or emotional problems?
yeah, Sammy has asthma. It's exercise induced, so sometimes he runs around too much, he gets too wheezing, needs his inhaler.
Okay. How about the other boys?
No, they don't.
Okay. Do any of them take medication for depression or anxiety?
No,
Okay. So how about you? Do you have any medical needs?
yeah, I have quite a few. I get migraines and I have asthma and I have Hashimoto's disease, which means my thyroid doesn't work right like it's supposed to. And I have Lyme disease and causes a lot of joint pain and inflammation and makes me really tired all the time.
Okay. How long have you had Lyme disease?
Probably about 15 years. It took a long time to get diagnosed, so I can't be exactly sure.
Okay. And what does having Lyme disease cause for you on a regular basis?
A lot of joint pain and just pain all over my legs, hurt a lot. I get headaches. I'm pretty much always tired.
And who treats you for your Lyme disease?
I have a doctor I go to.
Okay. And you said you have hypothyroidism?
Yeah, that's part of the Hashimoto's disease.
Okay. How does that affect you on a day-to-day basis?
That's pretty well controlled now, but I get really tired. I get worn out easy. I get overheated easily. It's really easy to gain weight, so I have to watch what I eat.
Okay. Did you say that you had asthma as well?
Yes,
Do you have an inhaler?
yes.
Do you ever need to have breathing treatments?
No, it's pretty well controlled too, but I keep my inhaler in my purse all the time. And like if I catch a cold, I'm more likely to be able to need it.
And do you have any allergies that affect you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I'm allergic to dust and mold, and you pretty much can't get away from those. And I'm allergic to quite a few animals too.
Now, do you take any regular medications?
Yeah, I take asthma medicine every morning and allergy medicine and thyroid medicine. And I take a few supplements because when you have thyroid disease, your stomach acid is low and you don't absorb vitamins and nutrients like you should. So I take a lot of vitamins to stay healthy as I can.
Okay. Did you put together a folder of information about your doctors and places that you've been treated?
Yeah, I had a white binder in the house because I've been to quite a few doctors before I found anybody that helped me. And so I would keep all the different test results and information in there so I could have it to go back on. And I've had doctors that have offices that have closed on me, so I can't get that information back. And it was all in a binder in the house, and I asked for it multiple times, but he keeps saying he forgot to bring it to me every time I asked.
Okay, so you left that white binder in the marital home?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I asked him for it and he called me and asked me exactly where it was, and I guided him to where it was in the basement on the phone, and he said he found it, and then he went through it with me on the phone after I asked him not to, and then he never did bring it to me.
Okay. Would you like him to give it to you?
Yes, I would.
And did Jerry say why he wouldn't bring it to you?
He just kept saying he forgot, and he told me he took it to his lawyer and his lawyer looked through it.
Okay. Okay. Do any of the health concerns that you have stop you from being able to provide care for your children?
No,
Okay. Do you take any tranquilizers or pain medication or any other prescription anxiety medication?
no, I only take Tylenol and ibuprofen for pain and nothing else.
Okay. So Jerry testified that he found a couple of pill bottles that he thinks you have for some reason that were your mother's or your grandmother's.
Yeah, my mom used to come up to visit every 3 months, so I assume that they fell out of her purse or something, and I don't remember for sure, but she lives with my grandma, takes care of her, so it would make sense that she would have some of my grandma's pills. My grandma comes up to visit with my mom sometimes, not every time, but
How old is your grandma?
She's almost 87.
Okay. All right. And they live together?
Yes.
So you don't take any of their medications?
No, I do not.
Did Mr. Party ever bring that up to you before?
No, I had never heard of that before.
Okay. Are you interested in enrolling your children in Battle Creek public schools?
No, I'm not. They're much happier not in that environment. They learn a lot more this way too. They can get all the one-on-one help they need with me.
Okay. Are you finding that as they grow older, it's more difficult to teach older students?
No, I just follow along right with what they're doing and I have no problem whatsoever.
Okay. Were you able to get all of your homeschooling documents out of the marital home?
No, all the homeschool stuff is still in the house in the basement. We had to sign up for an online program because he would not let us have any of the homeschool stuff out of the house. It's all paperwork, books and things.
Okay. And I take it by him, you're talking about Jerry?
Yes.
Did you ask him if he would let you have those things?
Several times. He said that he would bring them to me, but he never did.
Did he ever say that he wanted to use them to teach the boys?
No, he never did.
Okay. Before you separated, you and Jerry separated April 2023. Did Jerry say that he was dissatisfied with the job you were doing teaching the boys?
No, he would actually brag to his family and our friends and everybody that would listen how much better they were doing at home with me and how awful the schools were.
Okay. Did you ever look into like a religious-based school, Christian school or Catholic school or anything?
I did check into it, but it just that they're doing so well homeschooling that they just would rather do that.
Okay. So do you think it's possible your son did not know what grade he's in?
It's possible because a lot of the homeschool materials are by level, not by grade, and you might be in a different level in math than you are in English because I do by what their ability is, not exactly what level, but he does know what grade he is in.
Okay.
He just gets nervous around adults.
So I take it that you had to replace all the pads and pencils and, other things that you needed?
Yes, the domestic violence shelter gave us things, found notebooks and pencils and things like that for us. They even loaned us laptops to use.
Okay. Do you normally work on laptops?
No, we don't. We usually use paper.
Okay. So the program online that you have been using since you don't have the books that are in the house, how does that work?
They just log on every day and then it has various links to different videos and quizzes and I get emailed the results of all their quizzes.
Okay. And is there any mandatory state documents or testing or that type of thing that the state of Michigan requires that the kids get involved in?
No, there's not.
How do you know when they're ready to graduate from high school?
The curriculum we use goes all the way to 12th grade, and when they mastered all that and they mastered algebra, then I graduated them.
Okay. Now, do you have any behavioral issues with the kids while you were teaching them?
No, never. They're very well behaved.
Never? I mean, they're perfect and always listen?
They might pick on each other sometimes, but they're just having fun and nobody really gets upset about it.
Okay. And so do you find that they listen to you and respect you while you're speaking?
Yes, they do. If I tell them to stop doing something, they listen to me.
Okay. Now, is there anything that you would change going forward in the way that you are teaching them?
No, we're really happy with the curriculum that we have at the house. I'm not really happy with the online curriculum that we use. I would rather go back to the paper books we had before. I think that was a lot more in depth than the online curriculum.
Okay.
I would like to maybe put them in Gull Lake Virtual Academy for some extracurricular classes.
Okay. What is the Gull Lake Virtual Academy?
It's a state-funded program, and they can take up to 3 extracurricular classes per kid per semester, and they have almost 1,000 classes, from fencing to clay to Lego building classes and engineering classes. They have a wide variety of things that the boys can pick from. Sammy did astronomy through there once, and he really enjoyed that.
Okay. And so any kid can just do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And there's no cost involved?
Nope.
All right. Now, what kind of projects and things were you helping the boys with 4-H?
They like to do a ceramics project every year, and we always do tie-dye. We usually do stepping stones, and this year they had blankets they were going to sew, and they were all ready to go, but they just needed finishing touches, but they couldn't finish them before the fair. They do candles and soap making, pencil drawings, Lego sculptures. It's all craft projects, but it's a wide variety of things.
Okay. How long have they been entering their craft projects at is it the Calhoun County Fair?
Yes, since 2018.
Okay. Okay, so in the past, the kids would go to the fair and show their crafts.
Yes, I would take them, and we would do judging. They would show their projects to each judge, and then we would arrange our booth, and they would get prizes, and then we would get wristbands and get to go to the fair all week.
Okay. So as long as they were participants, then you were able to go to the fair?
Yeah, if you you have to have projects judged to get into the fair for free all week. Otherwise, you can't go.
Okay. And was that your plan for 2023?
Yes, that was the plan. I made plans with Jerry to switch weekends so that I would have them that weekend, and he wouldn't have to worry about it at all. And that just didn't work out. We traded days, and I held up my end of the bargain, and he didn't hold up his end.
Okay. And so when did you realize that he wasn't going to take the boys to 4-H, to the fair?
The night before, about 8 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. What did he say?
He said that the school start date had been moved, and that I had hidden it from him, and that he was going to keep them and not bring them back to me. And I asked him if he would at least please take them to the fair for judging, and he said no. And I explained to him several times that if we didn't get our wristbands, we couldn't go, and I can't afford to pay to get in. And he just would not. He would not do it. And then the next morning, he didn't bring me the boys.
Okay. How did the boys' projects get to the fair?
Me and Quentin packed them all up and took them to the fair, and I was just hoping that he would show up with the boys.
Okay, so you brought them. Was it the day of the judging or before?
It was the morning of the judging.
Okay. And did the boys end up showing up?
Yes, they did.
How long did they stay?
Just until judging was over, and then he made them leave.
Okay. So did they find out while he was there if they had won or not?
No, a lot of their projects had been held back for consideration for rosettes, and we were waiting for all those to come back, and he made them leave, so they didn't know what they won. I had to take pictures and send them to Sammy so he would know what he won. He got a rosette for his ceramics painting.
Okay. As far as you could tell, was there any reason that he needed to act that way, Jerry?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Have you been able to talk with Jerry since you've been separated about the kids?
We text about the kids sometimes, but talking to him about anything is like pulling teeth, and he insists on recording me constantly, and it makes me very uncomfortable. So I try not to talk to him in person anymore.
How do you know that he's recording you?
He holds his phone right in front of him, and I can see it.
Okay. Have you asked him not to do that?
Yes, I have several times.
Okay. When's the last time you saw him do that?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Okay. Did he receive, after the court's order, of course, did he receive every other week of parenting time during the summer?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Did you start and stop according to any particular schedule?
Yeah, we were going by the Battle Creek Public School schedule. I was going by the calendar that they had published when school got out in the fall, in the spring. I didn't know that it had changed. It had changed sometime in the summer, and I had no reason to keep looking at the website, so I didn't know.
Okay. And so now, when is Jerry receiving parenting time with the boys?
Every other weekend and Wednesdays and every other holiday.
Okay. How do you think the parenting time is going between Jerry and yourself?
I don't know. It's very stressful, and I'm not always sure that he's bringing them back. They run late a lot.
Okay. Do any of the children have cell phones?
I got a new phone and gave Sammy my cell phone because Jerry doesn't have a landline at the house, and I'm uncomfortable with them being there with no way to call anybody. And I got Logan a free government phone.
Okay. Do you talk to the children on Dad's parenting time?
Yes, every day.
I mean, do they call you?
We text back and forth. Sometimes they call me.
Okay. Okay. Are you giving him the parenting time he's supposed to have according to the order?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Has Jerry contacted you about the schooling and what you're doing to homeschool them?
He's texted a couple of times asking how are the boys doing, and I say, oh, they're doing good. He said, what have they been up to? And I'll say, oh, they're doing their schoolwork and hanging out with their friends, and that's all he ever asks. He never asks for any details or anything.
Okay.
And that's very seldom does he even ask that.
Okay. What is your hope about housing and being able to house the children going forward?
We would very much like to move back into the house and be all together again, just me and the boys. And the two older boys are going to come live with me too.
So if you were granted the house, all 5 of them would be in the home?
Yes, they would.
Okay. Now you understand that the home was appraised and it's valued at 190,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so how would you go about financing paying Mr. Pardik for his share of this home?
My mom offered to loan me the money.
And so you would pay Mr. Pardik off with that, and then you'd work it out between your mom?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you want to move back into that house?
It's just that it's our home. It's where they grew up.
Okay. Do you think that you have the ability to keep up the maintenance and take care of the home?
Yes, I do. My son is very handy, Bryce. A lot of the stuff has already been done in the house, like the plumbing and the roof, and I'm confident we could take care of it all.
So Mr. Pardik indicated to us that you know he spends a lot of money on maintenance of the home and fixing up the home. Do you think that that's correct?
No, I do not. He did the roof himself. He did the plumbing himself to save money. Nothing has been updated. The kitchen and the bathrooms are ancient. Nothing has been updated since the 50s.
Okay. Now I saw that there's like a creek running through the backyard of the home.
Yeah, there's a small creek in the backyard and a swamp
Okay.
and some woods.
Is that what he takes the boys fishing in?
No, he takes them to a lake.
To a lake. Okay. Is the financial help you're able to get from your mother something that can happen very soon?
Yes, she has the funds available right now.
Okay. So if he was, able to move out, you'd be able to move in?
Yes, immediately.
Okay. So can you tell me how long it was till you received any financial support from Mr. Pardik?
I believe it was the end of July, beginning of August before I got anything.
Okay. So beginning of August.
I think so, yeah.
What were you doing? How were you living?
I had to charge everything.
What were you charging it to?
My credit card, the Fifth Third card.
Okay. And so you have a Fifth Third credit card?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is it something that Mr. Pardik has used in the past, or is it just yours?
It's just mine. He would order me to order things for him sometimes, so
Okay. How long have you had it?
probably about 10 years.
Okay. What's the balance on that card?
$12,000. I had to buy the boys new clothes and shoes.
Well, I mean, new clothes and shoes didn't cost $12,000. What kind of other
No.
stuff's on there?
Food and car repairs, and the cat got really sick.
Okay. Is this a card that Mr. Pardik has been paying on?
No.
He's made no payment on that account.
He made a payment on it in May, I believe, after I had already paid it.
In May of 2023?
Yes.
And then after that point, you charged an additional $12,000?
Yeah, the car broke down on me 3 times.
Do you have any other credit cards?
I have a Sears credit card. It has $2,000 on it.
How long have you had that card?
Probably 15, 16 years.
What kind of things did you charge on there?
It was mostly just food and gas.
Food and gas. Okay. Do you have a Fifth Third joint account with your son Quentin that has $10,590 on it?
No.
Okay. Do you have a account with your son Quentin?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how long have you had an account with your son Quentin?
He opened the account in August of this year.
So August of 2023?
Yes.
Why does it have your name on it?
He just wanted my name on there too in case he needed the money and couldn't go get it for some reason.
Okay. How much is in that account?
I believe there's like $7,500 in it.
Okay. Where did the money that opened that account come from?
It was his graduation money that we took out of the closed Fifth Third account.
Okay. There was an account for $10,590 at Fifth Third with your son Quentin.
Yes, there was.
It got closed out, right?
Yes.
He opened a new account with your name on it someplace else.
Yes.
And that has money in it.
Yes.
Is any of that money yours or Jerry's?
No, it's all Quentin's money.
You allow your name to be placed on an account with your son Bryce.
Yes, he needed to take out a loan for $3,000 and he needed a cosigner because his credit wasn't quite open or high enough to open it. So I co-signed for him.
And when approximately was that?
It was sometime this summer.
And was it with Advia Credit Union?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Was that your loan?
No, it was not. It was all his loan.
Okay. Have you made payments on it?
No, I have not.
Okay. As far as you know, is it still pending or is it paid off?
I believe it is either already paid off or will be paid off in the next month or 2.
Okay. So besides the fact that your name was on it, it means nothing to you and Jerry.
Yeah, it's not involved at all.
Okay. Okay, so the accounts that Jerry mentioned as being paid off in May of this year, $432 to Fifth Third, $5,212 to Fifth Third, and $516 to Cabela's. Does that sound like accounts that you and he had?
It sounds like it's backwards. It was usually me buying everything for the house, so mine would have more on it and his would have only gas on it. So I'm not sure why he had so much on his, but those do sound like our credit cards.
Okay. Do you have any access to those accounts?
I have the Fifth Third card. I do not have access to either one of them.
Okay.
I have not been getting the bills though, so I do not know exactly what is on them.
Okay. You've not made any payment on those 3 cards.
On the Fifth Third card, I've been paying $300 a month in cash.
Okay.